Jerry Jones has never, nor could he ever, question the greatness of Ezekiel Elliott. Based on purely his game, you have to pay Ezekiel Elliott, and he's going to get paid. But the issue is he's got some justification to hold out, because what he's saying is, not only am I negotiating with my contract, with my quarterback, but I got to pay you this money, and I know I got to pay you this money, but damn it, I want to make sure you understand, and it leaves an indelible mark in your brain that you got to act right, and you cannot mess up, because I'm trusting you by giving you the guaranteed portions of this money for the future. That's what Jerry Jones is saying. If he said, I'm never paying Ezekiel Elliott, or I'm not going to pay him, or he isn't worth it, I would be all over Jerry Jones, and I would be against him. But that is not what he is saying. That's the difference.
I can't believe you buy that BS. Oh, we need to know about his character. Let me show you perfect proof. We'll just use the evidence from this. That's all nonsense. It's just ownership constantly making the argument, whatever one they can find. That's not principled. It's not consistent. Whatever they can find to stop from paying somebody. I mean, there's a cap there, so it's not like he's going to spend any more or less money, Jerry Jones. But if he pays Ezekiel Elliott, he can't pay someone else. He wants his team to be as good as possible. He put these rules in place to stop him and other owners from spending the money that they would otherwise spend, that the players actually deserve. So let me get this straight, Stephen A. You're claiming it's a character issue with Ezekiel Elliott. He needs to make sure before he invests in the guaranteed dollars that Ezekiel Elliott's character deserves that investment too, that he won't do something wild or misbehave or not produce on the field once he gets the money. But Emmitt Smith wasn't like that, right? Emmitt Smith, you just said, was class personified. Why'd Emmitt Smith have to sit out the first 2 games to get paid then? If he's class personified and you didn't have any question about his character, because it's BS. It's just Jerry Jones looking not to pay Ezekiel Elliott, just like he was trying to not pay Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith, whose contract was up, it's not even like a real holdout. His contract was up, was a beast, was a future Hall of Famer, had just won a Super Bowl, was an MVP caliber player in an era that valued the running back. He's like, okay, time to get paid. And back then he had to sit out 2 games to get his money. This is just an excuse in a negotiation to keep Zeke's money down. And by the way, I believe it's a bluff on top of that. I think Ezekiel Elliott will get paid. And by the way, all we've heard is, well, we'll make him the 2nd highest paid back. What is the guaranteed dollars? Why hasn't that been reported? Because everything else is nonsense. Give the man elite guaranteed dollars in the ballpark of Gurley, and he'll play.
Well, but first of all, my response to that is go ahead and make your argument about Ezekiel Elliott deserving his money, but you can do it without misrepresenting my position. My position is clear. Of course, every owner tries to avoid paying somebody. That ain't news. Jerry Jones is going to try to get away with not paying somebody. We know that. What I'm talking about is the rationale and the justification behind the delaying of the inevitable, which is paying Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott is going to get paid. Why? Because Ezekiel Elliott is one of the best running backs in football, and because he deserves his money. But what I'm saying is, when you take into account the timing, it is not an accident that Jalen Smith got his contract. It is not an accident that Dak Prescott is having his contract negotiated first. You've got individuals in place who have gone about the business of putting their head down, going to work, performing without bringing me any additional nonsense. As an owner, I'm automatically looking for an excuse to cut you short. I'm automatically looking for an excuse to lowball you or to not pay you what you're worth. Of course I am, because I'm a businessman as an owner, and I'm going to try to get away with it. But in the end, he would have no leg to stand on if Ezekiel Elliott didn't act like a knucklehead from time to time. And the fact that he did, if I'm Jerry Jones, I'm like, I got the Giants. That's a win. I got the Redskins. That should be a win. I got the Miami Dolphins. I should win 2 of the first 3 games, okay? So guess what? If I got to make you wait, bump it. I'll make you wait. Why? Because you have caused us headaches. I'm going to do the same for you.
So you're saying, so your argument is actually that Jerry Jones, even though we all know it's BS, has at least these points that he can point to as for his propaganda in this negotiation, and therefore you're on his side?
Time out. Of course, that's what I'm saying. My point is that's any owner. Anytime you go into a negotiation, you, Mr. Negotiator, with all the contracts you've negotiated in your career, you know this. People look for an excuse to give you
Let's talk about what this is really about.
You think you're worth in business.
Right, sure.
It's always understood.
Sure, and I'm calling BS where I see it. Let's talk about what this is really about. It's not that the running game doesn't matter anymore. It's that the position has been devalued because running backs are considered fungible, replaceable. They can all more or less do the job. So it's a scarcity issue. Yeah, there are so many of them. But so let's talk about what Emmitt Smith said. Emmitt Smith said, yeah, there are so many of them, but some guys are different. Some guys bring you additional value, but the owners have been so good at suppressing the running back's guaranteed money that they have more money to spend on other positions. And that's what Jerry Jones is trying to toe the line on. And Ezekiel Elliott is sitting there going, and Emmitt Smith is pointing it out. Wait a minute. I'm not like everybody else. Pay me.
What I'm saying to you is the same thing that you're accusing Jerry Jones of doing is the same thing you can accuse any owner or anybody in that position of power when it comes to negotiation. The objective is to get the most for the least amount you can get away with. That's essentially what you are accusing Jerry Jones of.
So why are you on his side?
Because my point is Ezekiel Elliott gives him justification to pull it off for a few weeks. That's my argument.
Can I ask you one question, Stephen? And I understand where you're coming from based on his decisions that he's made off the field, et cetera, 2 years left on the deal. But they're in a position to win right now. I mean, Super Bowl run. Do you think he's making a mistake playing around with his contract based on that? Because all the pieces are in place.
If week three shows up and the Dallas Cowboys are 0-3, he made a mistake. If they're 3-0, did he make a mistake?
Guess not. We got to see if Tony Pollard can get the job done.
What if, hold on,
that's the whole point.
Not so black and white. What if they're 1-2 or 2-1? And there was a game that it could have made a difference. And at the end of the season, it comes down to them and the Eagles, who's going to get a bye, right, in the first round of the playoffs. And you know as well as I do, a bye in the first round, you might win the Super Bowl.
Thank you so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.